Okay, cool. Okay, thank you everyone. I will speak about personalized education, but I will start with echoing what Hanan said, that we are always recruiting good PhD students to work at the intersection of ML and education. So reach out to us if you are interested.
Next event we'll have a panel
of recruiting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll have that's next. Yeah. Okay, let me start with a personal story. So this is me at the age of 11, on the first day of school with my two, can you please start the timer? On the first day of school with my two sisters, looking cute, huh? But don't be misled by the nice picture. I was regularly thrown out of school because of behavioral problems. I remember myself wandering around in the schoolyard, doing nothing. My mother was a teacher at that school, and she was desperate. No one knew what is going to happen with me. And then one day, all the kids in the school were sent to a special exam, and in that exam, I was identified as a gifted student, and I was sent to a special program outside of the school. And in that program, I learned to build rockets and conducted experiments, and I really, really loved that, going to work with biologists to study birds for the first time in my life. I was fascinated by what's happening inside the classroom. Now, basically, this is about individualized learning, and it can be that important because it can be the difference between throwing away from school due to behavioral problems or becoming a scientist at Weizmann. Without these programs that changed my life, there is a big chance that I was dropping out from school. Now, of course, individualized or personalized instruction or personalized education, there are many terms for that. It's not only about gifted students, it's about students who struggle and need more assistance. It's about students who experience stress or depression. It's about students who have learning disabilities, and it's basically about everyone because all students are a bit unique. And this is not just an anecdote about myself or some general statement. There is this research that is supporting that. The most important one is Bloom's seminal work from 1984. So basically what Bloom showed is that students who received personalized instruction did 2 standard deviations better than students who received traditional instruction in a regular classroom. Now that's a huge 2 standard deviations. That's a huge difference. It means that the average student in the class that received personalized instruction did better than 98% from the students in the traditional classroom. Now the thing is that it's well, that's a few articles from the Israeli newspapers. So it's a bit weird to speak about personalized instruction when the reality in Israel, but also in many other places, is so many students in the classroom, lack of teachers, especially in math and sciences. So it's not really surprising that we see a rise in depression, in stress, in dropout. So that is based on data from the US. As you can see, it's depressive symptoms among adolescents. The problem is more severe among girls. Now this is from the US, but it's a typical pattern that we observe. And you may say, okay, we are in Israel, we are okay, it's a startup nation, but actually Israel is doing quite bad in international exams. So that's results from the latest PISA test. So that's an international test about assessing student ability to do reading, math, and science. And you can see that Israel is doing worse than the OECD average on both reading, math, and science. So the situation is not that good in Israel. And okay, you may ask, why should I care about that? So basically, those kids are the future of our economy. So that's people here 10, 15 years ago. That's going to be the engineers building the roads that we are driving on, the doctors treating us in hospitals. So quality education is basically the interest of all of us. Now, it was good if we could find someone to blame, the education system, the economic system, the government. I'm telling you who we shouldn't blame, the teachers. Because basically the teachers are the victims of this situation as well. And well, how can they be expected to provide personalized instruction when they have so many kids in their classroom? So that sounds like mission impossible, and it looks like a deadlock. We understand that personalized instruction is, well, in order to provide quality education, we need it to be personalized, but on the other hand, we have such a shortage of teachers, so many kids in each classroom, it seems like mission impossible. And the question is whether one-size-fits-all education is a fate of the educational system in Israel and also in other countries. And that's pretty weird because we seem to be living in the era of personalization. Now, all this, well, we heard a lot of talks today, I don't know, recommender systems and various approaches to do personalization and use data in order to improve things. So basically all these tech giants are collecting data on me, they're using algorithms to provide things that are tailored specifically for me. So can we use that, the power of personalization that is driven by the AI revolution that is all around us, can we use that to offer personalized instruction in schools? So that's the focus of my lab at Weizmann Institute. And basically we ask, can AI assist in providing personalized learning? And today I want to give two brief examples of the kind of tools that we are working on. So those tools are falling into what we call teacher-AI partnership, because some of you may think that if we're speaking about AI for personalized instruction, we are talking about replacing teachers. So there's nothing more wrong than that, because the idea here is to empower the teachers through partnership with intelligent systems. And since we don't always know what the teachers need, we ask them. So this picture is taken from a typical design session with system developers on the left and science teachers on the right. And when we ask teachers, what is your severest pain? So they say that they feel in the dark, that they don't know what the students know. They say that if I could only see the gaps earlier, when they're still small, I could treat them. I could solve issues before they are becoming big issues. And that echoes the saying of another great educational psychologist, Ozabel, who said, the most important single factor in education is knowing what the student already knows. Ascertain this and teach him accordingly. But the problem is that the teachers don't know what the kids know. So they can treat them accordingly. And that's where we fit in. And one first example that I'm going to present is a tool that we developed called Grouper. So Grouper stands for Group-Based Personalization. It's basically AI technology that analyzes what each student knows and provides or recommends on a tailored plan that is adapted to the needs of that student. And how this tool works. So first it takes responses of thousands of students that did interactive assessment in various types of activities that we have in physics, biology, chemistry, computer science, math, and other disciplines. So the tool starts by analyzing those responses or student responses to questions in these domains, and then it discovers patterns of types of knowledge profiles that student may have in the classroom. That's an interactive dashboard that the teacher receives. So what the dashboard gives to the teacher is basically it maps the student in that class into knowledge profiles. And then it explains to the teacher what are the difficulties of each knowledge profile. So for example, if we have here group 4. So students, that is based on real data from a physics assessment. So the students in this group have difficulties in applying Newton's third law. I don't know if you remember that, but we can have questions on that later, on Newton. And what it does next, it recommends to the teacher on sequences that may be appropriate for the difficulties of each group. Now, the system provides recommendation, but it's very important for us to keep the autonomy of the teachers. So the teachers are not obligated to take the system recommendation. They can decide to do other things with the results of that analysis. So, for example, we saw teachers mixing students from different groups in order to have the students teaching each other on areas that each student is strong or weak, and that's a very effective type of pedagogy. What the tool also does, it crowdsources the wisdom of the teachers, because if teachers choose to do something with a certain knowledge profile, a certain group of students, then the system keeps that, and it can use that in order to use this recommendation to make recommendation to future teachers that can use this insight in order to help their students. So over time, what we have is a system that is becoming smarter because of the teacher, and is making the teachers smarter with the wisdom received from other teachers. I'm quite proud to say that this technology tool is receiving global interest. So, for example, a few months ago, I demonstrated it to policymakers at UNESCO, for example, with the Ministry of Education of China. Recently, we won a global international competition on educational technology funded by some very high-profile donors. But what we are really excited about is the feedback that we receive from teachers who are using this technology. So over 100 teachers are also already using that technology in their classes. And here is what some of them say. The tool allows me to treat specific problems in a specific way. It helps me to be more objective in the way I assess student understanding. It makes me more effective as a teacher. And because we are a research institute, we're also very interested to study in a rigorous way the strengths or the impact of those findings. So we use controlled experiments in order to test various hypotheses regarding to how we can improve student learning. So that's the team behind this tool. So it takes, you know, that it takes a village to build these kinds of tools. Our village is composed of AI researchers, but also science ed researchers and teachers and R&D and UI and UX designers. So thank you very much for this wonderful team. A very brief description of another tool that we are developing also in this idea, or following this idea of how we can help teachers to help the students learn better using AI. So we know that feedback is very crucial for learning, but the problem today with open-ended questions and more generally with complicated tasks that we want to give to the students is that we don't have, the teachers don't have time to check them and provide feedback to the students, because it's competing goals, having immediate feedback and having complex tasks. So this is where we fit in with NLP and AI to solve the challenge of providing feedback to students on complex tasks. We have a tool called AI Grader that uses NLP to analyze open-ended questions and then provide feedback to students. Control experiments already showed that using this tool in classrooms improves students' achievements. It's integrated, both tools are integrated into a system that learning system that we developed within Weizmann. It's called PETL, for Personalized Teaching and Learning, so it's something that is available for free to all the science teachers in Israel, and it offers content in basically all the science disciplines that are learned in the Israeli schools. This is what our users say about it. Or maybe sing about it.
היית בשיעור?
כנסי לפטל.
נאבד לך ציור?
הוא בטח בפטל.
נאבד לך הדף?
תדפיסי מפטל.
צריכה את המצגת?
יש כבר בפטל.
פטל זה הכל בחיים. אם לא תיכנסי לפטל, תהיי מנקת רחובות. יו יו!
יו יו!
יו יו! נכשלת במבחן?
תשלימי מפטל.
שברת שולחן?
תדביקי עם פטל.
נאבד הנייד?
תעטרי עם פטל.
נשברה לך יד?
כנסי לפטל.
פטל זה הכל בחיים. אם לא תיכנסי לפטל, תהיי מנקת רחובות. יו יו! יו יו! יו יו! היא יודעת הכל.
מתי נכנס?
לכמה זמן? זה ירדוף אותך לנצח. פטל.
בקרוב.
Thank you. We didn't ask for it. It just
פטל.
sent it to us. Together we have a vision of AI that is working alongside teachers in order to making sure that each student can receive instruction that is tailored to his or her needs, so no child is left behind. If you are interested to learn more about it, you can email me or catch me here or later. We probably don't have time for questions, right? Okay, thank you. If we have time, then maybe one question.